Libra, your love card for 2025 is the Death card. So this speaks to a year with powerful changes and life-transforming situations related to love and relationships. You may feel a powerful pull towards someone or intense emotions that guide the choices you make. For some of you, it's internal change driving you to seek new love or new ways of loving. It's a year where you will refuse to stay in a stagnant, dead-end relationship, a union you find too confining, or one where there's just a lot of confusion. So either you or a partner may have the tendency to be obsessive, jealous, secretive, and sometimes manipulative. More positively, you want the security of knowing where you stand, and you may be willing to put in the work for some important change, even if that means you're starting over or you're rebuilding your life and your relationship in some way. Together, you may have experiences that you've never had before. Now, if you're resistant to needed change this year, you're going to have a hard time because it's coming. There's something at work that's larger than you. And flexibility is key in dealing with the unpredictable twists that are coming your way. If you've been single, you could go through a rebirth in the decision to explore dating. Maybe you're willing to finally step out there, enter unknown territory, and merge with another person, materially, spiritually, physically, and sexually. In fact, sexual connection could be a high priority in your relationship, or temptation becomes a threat to the current relationship. But this is a year where you'll cut the dead wood, purge the unnecessary, and strip away whatever you've outgrown. Habits that don't serve you, relationships that aren't working, conditions that don't offer fulfillment. You'll either shift the nature of your relationship or it will fall by the wayside. So in some cases, that means a divorce or separation, or it means that certain aspects of your relationship are shutting down. In the most extreme case, this could be a year where you're picking up the pieces after suffering a severe loss caused by crisis. However, this year can also herald a liberating process where you decide to get rid of your old identity, to embrace a new you. And if you're single, that might bring the end of your single status. But relationships will tend to be highly sexual, intense, dramatic, and often they'll bring out the best and the worst in you. But relationships can also be a healing influence. And being with another person can provide a mirror into your own psyche to help you work through psychological issues or address unresolved complexes. If you're in an established relationship, it may be a year where there's closure in wrapping up some unfinished business, financial matters, debt, taxes, shared assets, inheritance, and so forth. So this is a year where you might end a relationship, start one, or revitalize the relationship you're already in. Now, the rapport that you have with this person may be very congenial, friendly, a lot of communication, but even so, there's a lack of clarity between you and another person. And maybe you have an innate awareness of that. Your intuition kicks in. And maybe things are never really fully clear. It could be what I said earlier about something secretive or manipulative in your connection somehow. You have an opportunity to repair what needs to be fixed, to gain some kind of clarity. And what you find out may enhance your awareness, bring you more understanding, and give you some peace of mind. But, something about the partnership where, again, there could be some struggles with temptation or someone of two minds, or saying one thing and doing something else or thinking something else. Could be you're having to make some kind of adjustment in this partnership. So you have a major choice, an important decision where you may feel like you're at, a fork in the road. So you could be reviewing your relationship, or maybe you're thinking about love and marriage, or trying to get clear, or maybe you're trying to choose between two prospective partners, or there's something about your relationship where it comes at a cost, possibly. And so you're having to think about what commitment means. Again, you may get some clarity. Somebody enters your life and they're important to your future, or someone is already in your life that is important to your future. Maybe you're going to reconnect with someone from the past. But again, it's a year where you feel a lot of responsibility and dedication to having the kind of relationships that you want. And you also have a lot of personal appeal. People are attracted to you, and maybe that's, the area of problem, that temptation, or perhaps your partner. Now, it could also be that, you're in people-pleasing mode, that you're constantly going along with your partner, handing over your power, because you want to be loved, you want to be accepted. Maybe you don't know how to fully express a difference of opinion. So for some of you, even if you have a good relationship, it could undergo some kind of tension because one of you has the habit of not fully being transparent or putting all of your feelings out. Maybe you think if you hold something back, you repress it, stuff it down, it'll make things easier. But what happens is it actually makes things more complicated. So what is best for building rapport in your relationship is really to speak your truth, to stop trying to be everything that your partner may have projected onto you and vice versa, and just be your truest, most authentic self. That's when the tension will ease off of your relationship and, things will improve. So you have to look at where you're too accommodating or too subservient or too jealous, or that manipulative tendency to just rely on charm to get you through the day. So something about choices and your connection lacks clarity, and you often have to rely on your intuition about what that is. It is possible to get that clarity, but you have to speak openly and honestly. It could also be, too, that, there may be power struggles between you and a partner. Control could be an issue. And you may be looking for the right time for something, either the right time to leave, the right opening to say something, but there is this sense of having to stand up for yourself or defend yourself. Or if you're interested in a partner, maybe this is about, someone that you haven't started dating. Maybe this is about being very daring, pushing through to try to gain a position of advantage, to go after what you want. But something about your relationship, if you're in one, some matters are going to come to a head. You need to understand the sense of purpose in what you're doing together or what your partner is doing. You may have to adapt to some things, or your partner may have to. Again, this is a year of change, and the less adaptable you are, the more you're going to have to contend with something that is unsettling or upsetting, because this is a year where a lot of things are coming at you. Opportunities and challenges, and you have to be persistent if you want a relationship, or you have to be persistent in standing up for yourself rather than always giving in, or you have to be persistent in, trying to reach a goal together. And, especially if it's worth waiting for. So for some of you, it could be that your partner relies on you for advice or assistance, or maybe you want to guide the direction of the relationship, and you have to figure out how to do it in a way that is non-threatening. how you can address problems or mistakes or transgressions without making your partner feel like you're pushing them or judging them. So for some of you, in your relationship that is problematic, you may feel like you're being victimized, maybe, but at the end of the day, it could be that you've just taken a particular stance and you refuse to give up on it, or your partner is. And there may be the tendency for either one of you to take your frustrations out on each other when, you may not really be the target, but you end up being the target, or vice versa. So you may have to reconsider your position about certain things and consider the timing, whether it's the right time, whether it's a good time to act, or whether you should wait. What really gives you an advantage? And when I say advantage, I don't mean at the expense of a partner. Now, part of the spark between you, the physical chemistry, may be, this tendency to rush. It's just off to the races. And maybe you find yourself in a whirlwind relationship, or things just suddenly take off, or, there's a rush to get somewhere. But where that is, who knows? Now, maybe, your love connection is very strong, but it's possible that it lacks tenderness. This can be a very tempestuous union, and, that may have its merits. Maybe the fights, when they happen, they're shattering, and yet the makeup is great. And you might understand that your partner's intentions are in the best place, and they try to make you happy when it occurs to them, but something about the connection may be very restless, and you might feel like something is missing because of that. There's a tendency to rush to protect you or pull you into some kind of conflict. And so maybe very often you don't know which direction you're going to be headed in. Sometimes it may even seem like things are going great, you're in a good mood, and then one wrong word spoils the day, either for you or for the other person. Or maybe, again, if you haven't connected, it's kind of been this sense of rushing to nowhere. You feel like you're beating your head against the wall to try to, start that connection. Or vice versa, maybe you're trying to end the relationship and you're having a hard time getting it through to the other person. Maybe you have difficulty with connection because one of you is scattering your energy in all these other places rather than, tunneling that into the relationship. Now, for some of you, maybe you're very impetuous. You might surprise yourself. You suddenly connect to somebody. You make a commitment, or you get physical with that person. Maybe, you weren't expecting it. It just suddenly took off. It could be that part of your physical attraction stems from, again, that desire to protect. You may decide that, this is my partner through thick and thin, and I will go the distance. Or maybe physically your partner can go the difference. Maybe this is a very exhilarating lover. Either way, you make decisions, and probably on impulse. So for you, that physical connection is more likely to be something spontaneous or unplanned. And maybe you like it that way, or maybe sometimes it just feels like, again, that there's something missing. I mean, it's possible that maybe you enjoy the quickie, or maybe you feel shortchanged by it. For some of you, it may be the possibility of just suddenly taking off and going somewhere that lights the spark of attraction for you. Now, the values that you share could be that you have a strong sense of responsibility or obligation, and there's usually one of you who is acting as the grown-up. So, even if you're stuck in something where you feel limited or constrained, or you're dealing with some bad habits or some pessimism, there's usually some luck to provide a breakthrough for either of you, some kind of insight or awareness that changes things for the better. And usually one of you will know how to talk the other one into doing something that may be for the better or that proves lucky. You usually can come up with good ideas or solutions that, get you out of a bind. So generally, you know when not to push your luck. So both of you may have a lot of common sense, or you use logic rather than getting carried away and optimistic about things that might bring on more than you can handle. So you both may support one another in overcoming bad habits, or leaving a bad situation, or knowing how to shift something toward more powerful and favorable conditions. But there can be difficulties between you. The area of conflict links to finding solutions related to expectations, rules, or doing the right thing. Problems crop up because of empty promises, even the benign ones that start to undermine credibility. And the tension between you and a partner can also be about not revealing everything or revealing too much. In some cases, the decision may be to just look away rather than deal with the drama, but it's important that you take a closer look at your choices in lovers and partnerships this year, because if you fail to accurately gauge who you're with, you could easily be pulled into scandal, intrigue, gossip, and so forth. Either of you could make some reckless decisions that carry high risk. You also have to decide whether you want a traditional relationship that follows societal or family norms, or whether the both of you should walk the path of your own making as a couple. So trying to decipher between established modes of behavior that work for good reason and breaking away and breaking the mold when that is too outdated or confining is key. So again, it's a year of deep transformation, both inside and out. You could have incredibly strong will in making sure that your relationship survives the bumps in the road, or you could decide that a partnership is stunting your growth and you need to release it. Either way, this is a year where you can come into your own with the understanding of your personal power and the incredible ability to rebuild from the ground up a life and a relationship of your desires. Here's your sneak peek for the year in love.